And there it goes. Welcome to our session on creating agendas. I had a lot of fun building this one because there's so much you can do with agendas. And then you start to think about the word agenda and you realize there's so many different ways you can go with it too, right? There's, there's daily agendas, there's weekly agendas, there's monthly ones, there's, agenda just for this subject or whatever. And I was like, well, I'll make a whole bunch of different templates and then you guys tell me, what else you would be interested in. We can kind of build some together. I'd like you to try today as we're going through. I stayed away from the whole Bitmoji classroom thing because I think that's a whole other theme that we could certainly do in a different session. But if you have questions on it and how to make it that Bitmoji look, we certainly can do that too. But I've had some requests for the Bitmoji session, so I'll do that separate. So I'm going to share my screen with you, and I will share this whole slide deck with you too. If I forget, just remind me. Actually, you know what I can do? No, I'll keep it there. That's all right. So I can't see you. So if you have a question, drop it in the chat or just unmute and ask as we're going through. But I'm going to show you a couple things, then I'll pop back over to you and see where any questions you've added in. So we're going to be talking about creating different types of agendas. And like I said, I have tons of ideas on this one. And I really was like, well, I'm not sure what kind of agendas you're thinking when you're doing agendas. So we're going to talk about all sorts of different ones. I'm sticking to using Google Slides, but these really can be created on anything you want to create with. I actually make most of my agendas in Bunzie over Google Slides, but Google Slides is so flexible. You certainly can create it in here, and that might be the most accessible for your students depending on what's allowed in your district. So I'm going to show you them all in Google Slides, but if we have time, I can certainly show you ones in other places as well. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Lori Guion. I'm the coordinator for Model Schools here at BOCES. You can always email me with questions. I'm also pretty active on Twitter, so you can find me online there as well. But my email's on the screen. You can always ask for anything you'd like. It sounds like somebody came in. Let me let them in. Actually, I'm going to stop presenting and split my screen because that way if people come in, I'm not constantly going back and forth and going out of the presentation for you. So let me do a window so I can see you. All right. Let that go. Okay. You guys can all still see the presentation, correct? Okay. Wonderful. And now I can see you, so that works out well. All right, so as we're going through and we're looking at ways to use agendas, and this is where I was kind of like, there's tons of different things I could think about here. We can use agendas to share with our students or our parents. I use agendas all the time to organize and prioritize my work. I think of it, the agenda sometimes is just a to-do list, but it's just organized in a better packaged way to kind of prioritize how things are done. You can use agendas for group work, and I'm going to show some examples of that. For homework organization, it's just like when you have in Google Classroom, it creates that to-do list. You can create agendas for their homework organization. For entrance and exit tickets, for projects, really you can use an agenda for anything. It's just a way to organize the work so that your students know what they should be doing when, so they're not raising the hand going, wait, I don't understand what I'm supposed to do, right? All the information is going to be there for them. For teachers that are using agendas, what they're finding is that they're not wasting time when they're on these virtual hybrid type of models because they're spending time, they have it up on the screen for them and they share it with the students prior to them joining, or as soon as they join, they have it. They can have it available offline. That way, if Wi-Fi is lost, they still have access to it to be able to do different things there. So we have that as well. All right, another one came in. Wonderful. Great. So let's talk about where you would post your agendas. And I kind of alluded to this, that it might be something you post into your Google Meet. Sometimes you might put the agenda right as a link. When they go into breakout rooms, you might share it within the breakout room. You can post it as a material on Google Classroom or Canvas or Schoology, whatever your school uses. You can post it on a classroom website. You can do it on a shared Google Doc or Slides, inside wherever you want the agendas to be. So it's just a matter of whatever you normally give your students, you want to give them a place to put the agenda. When I used to teach 6th grade, before we had technology, they always got that planner, right? That school planner. And we always spent the first couple weeks kind of organizing how that planner should be put in place. We'd always put it in the front cover of our binders. Same idea here. You can post that agenda wherever you know your students are going to be looking at it every day. So like I said, we're really going to stick to Google Slides today. We're going to be using tables, shapes, and even some images. I'll show you how to do them. So I'm going to show you some examples, then we'll take a break and actually practice doing them. And I'll show you some of my favorite, like kind of like those pro tips for sharing, you know, how to create your tables and your shapes and such. So really the examples we're going to break down, here's the list of what we're going to cover today. I could have made an agenda for today. I didn't think of that one, but in tables, we're going to look at daily, weekly agendas. We're going to look at to-do lists, entrance and exit tickets, virtual meetings, and even how to organize your breakout rooms. And then I'm going to show you in shapes, more like the kind of like the classroom work type of things, the daily to-do lists again, choice boards, reflections, and even some entrance tickets or start of the day activities. Before I get started, though, let me just pop back over to you. Do you guys have any questions or thoughts as far as agendas go? We're good?
Is there a way, Lori, to,
yeah.
Hold on. Is there a way to, like, with using Google Classroom, because I push into so many different classes, like I've probably got like 30 on my thing from 11th to 12th grade resource, to find out what they're missing, like overall, or do I have to go class by class and click on each student to find out what they're missing, what they're not missing, to like give them the agenda of what they need to do?
Okay, so a couple things there. One, you can be added as a guardian for that student. So your email could be listed in Google Classroom so that you can get a daily digest as far as what they have missing, as long as your teachers are using the guardian. They have that turned on in their classroom, and I could show you where that is if you don't know where that is. But you could be added that way. Then you'll get that list for all of their classes. Or yes, you'd have to go into each individual class to be able to see what they have. So it's great that you're maybe a co-teacher in the Google Classroom, but if you only have, you know, however big your caseload is, you could certainly get those daily agendas sent to you right through Google. It'll generate those reports for you.
Does the teacher have to actually email those out, or that's something you can see as even if the teachers don't like utilize that, but you are in the classroom as a guardian? Do you can just see every day what that is, or do the teachers actually have to send that information out?
Yeah, the teachers don't have to send it, but they do need to turn something on. So let me show you that in Google Classroom. You probably can't see my screen. Hang on, let me stop presenting again and share whole screen, because I was sharing a window. So let me go back to whole screen here. I'm going to go into Google Classroom. And if I go into one of my classes and I click on the cog or that gear icon, I need to turn on, I don't know if I can see it on mine. There's a spot, I don't have access to it because I have a BOCES account and we don't have access to it, but there's a spot in your settings that will say Guardian Summaries, and you'll want to turn that on. And then once that's on right in there, then it's included in that Guardian Summary. If the teacher has that shut off, their information won't be shared within that summary. That's the only thing they need to do on their end, is turn it on. But it will be located in the cog. It's just not there on mine. Let me go to a different account. Hang on. Let's go over to this. Is this my Queensberry? Yeah. Let me go into this one. I can show you it here. So if I go into a class and I go up to that gear icon, I have right here Guardian Summaries. As long as it's turned on, then the teacher doesn't have to do anything else other than that. If they sign you up as a guardian for that student, you're going to get a daily digest of the things that are due or not due for each of the classes that they're enrolled in. I'll click the example to show you what it looks like. So here it is. So you can set it up for daily or weekly. You choose that when it first generates, and then it'll show student work that's missing, anything that's due, and all activity that's happened in each of those Google Classrooms.
Oh, that's neat. Because I went through, because as a co-teacher, I went and like took all the parents' emails from School Tool for my kids and made sure that the parents could see that too. So I could probably just add myself.
Exactly. So. Yep. You can add yourself as another email, and then you can get that email summary sent to you. Yep.
Thank you.
Sure.
Lori, our school uses mostly Schoology. Will this still work on that platform?
I don't know that the Guardian Summaries.
Not the Guardian Summary, just this whole agenda.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We're going to be doing them in Google Slides, but you can build them anywhere. The question just happened to be through Google Classroom. Yeah, I've used Schoology, and Schoology is great because you can put the agenda on that front page, or you can put it into each of the folders. So you could have an agenda for the work that's within the folders too in Schoology.
Oh, okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Other questions? All right. Let me present my screen again. Oh, I'm still presenting my screen. Let me present the window. Oh, I lost the window. Hang on. It's still there. There it goes. Google just couldn't find it. Okay, so let's look at some examples of the table type. And what I mean by that is the ones that you're actually going to use the table tool. And I'll show you where that's located. So the table tool is under Insert. You click on Table, and then you build your table however big you want it to be. So we're going to look at those types first. So this is a typical daily agenda. So I set this up as a mini hyperdoc type of one, where you have your topic of the day, you have an explore, explain, some activity that they do, apply, and then some sort of exit ticket. So you could do a full hyperdoc if you wanted to, from soup to nuts, from explore all the way to extend if you wanted to, but I broke it down into smaller parts. Over on the left here, I put your notes, your daily greeting, any reminders, the goals for the day, which you could also create into one of the boxes, and you could also list out the homework. So anything that the students need to know will be on the left, and then the daily of what they're going to be doing first, next, and so on would be listed on the right. So the topic could be dolphins. You might have them explore a video or a 360 image of dolphins. The explain is going to be the meat of the lesson. This is the part that you teach, right? This is the teacher-driven part, which could be in a synchronous environment, could be you talking like I am now, or in an asynchronous, this could be a video or an article to read or some resources that you want them to take a look at. Then the activity is going to be something to make sure that they've got the information, and then they apply it doing whatever it is you typically would have them do to apply it, whether it's a quiz, a game, create an image, whatever it happens to be. And then the exit ticket, I'll show some examples of that later, but it could be built on that. So how I built this is I used a basic table. I colored the lines green, and I can show you how that's done. So let me go out of there for a minute. So if I highlight this grid, I click on the line tool, and I can change the border color to be anything that I'd like it to be within the cells, or I can have it be the whole thing by highlighting the whole box and saying I want the whole box to be a certain color. And what I did is I just wrote within the cells. All right, I can make the cells smaller and larger. So maybe I want more room in the explain and the activity. I could just shrink them down and make them larger. Another one you could do is, let's say this is a weekly one. So you might post this at the beginning of the week. You put the reminders at the top, or you can do these as homework. You'd put November and then the date, and then you would give them the week of activities. And here you could type in the box. Monday, maybe they're watching a video and they're answering some questions. Tuesday, they're creating an image of what they learned. And Wednesday, they're having a discussion group. You could list out whatever it is per subject, per week, however you want to have this done, whether it's, homework based or whatnot. And all I did here was use those cells. I shrunk up that one level to make the week to be a little bit shorter, to give myself more space. I brought in an image just to add a little color to it, but you can decorate any way you want. And when we practice, you'll be able to do that. Another way you can do the cells is something like this. So this is a daily starter type of slide where I have the students caption a photo. And then and what I'm finding is, and this is a big question I've been getting from teachers, is sometimes once one student answers, they all say the same thing. And one teacher I saw on Facebook said, well, I use the waterfall. So what she does is she has the students all type it in, and then she'll say waterfall, and that's when they post it. So nobody posts it until somebody says waterfall, but they've written their answer already, and you'll get richer, more authentic responses because they can't see each other's before they type it in. So that could be a daily starter. This one just happens to be caption the photo of the mismatched socks on the left, and then they can do that waterfall activity. What I did here is I used the cells. This still has the boxes, but what I did was, instead of putting a color on the lines, I did a transparent. And what that does is it creates the 4 even boxes evenly spaced out for me without me having to line them up and make sure that they're right. So the cell is still there. It's just that the lines are hidden because I use transparent lines. So here might be one when the kids are coming in for your virtual meeting. You might have a while you wait, a math problem, a riddle, a rebus puzzle, whatever it happens to be, you can have listed in here, and the students are going to be working on that. This one also has the daily starter that you can tell them when to do that. The must do is going to be their work for the day. The may do is going to be extra things. So they finished, what do they do now? And then the exit ticket could be listed here as well. And then on the left, this is their homework or the next steps or any reminders you want to give them. I spoke a lot about entrance and exit tickets. Sometimes that's all you want to have on the screen for your agenda. So here is a basic one you might do at the beginning, my confidence level, what the homework is, and then they circle which thumb they feel, and they write down what questions they have. We know that reflection on their assignments is going to increase engagement. It's going to increase student agency, so it's good to have the students think about those kinds of things. It also gives you a very quick gauge on how they feel if they're filling this out every day and sending it in to you. If they're constantly saying thumbs down, you know you're going to have that conversation with them. If they're constantly saying thumbs up, maybe you know you need to enrich them because they're getting the work pretty quickly. And then at the end for an exit ticket, you could do a simple how I feel about the lesson, 3 different smiley faces, any questions they still have. Same idea, you're starting off with, here's how I felt about last night, here's how I feel after the lesson. You could also create a virtual meeting one. So this is going to be where you know you're going to be doing work with students in whole group, breakout groups, so they're going to be doing small group, they might do some activity on their own. So the agenda is going to have the directions, it's going to have whatever the intro activity, the whole group activity, and then when they go into breakouts, what they're going to do. Any resources they need will be linked on the right. So you can do this right in Google Classroom with all the multiple links, but it's a lot easier for you to link one view-only activity in Google Classroom, and then the students click on the links to get to the information they need. So here the students aren't doing any work on it, you're just giving them the framework of what's going to be happening when they meet with you. Staying within the breakout idea, with your students going into breakouts, you could have something as simple as their steps of what they want to do. So that way, if you're not in each of the breakouts, they know what's expected of them. So when they get to the breakout, it's expected they turn on their mic. I did this one for Spin the Wheel. This is a SEL, kind of getting to know you. I didn't create this wheel, but I thought it was a really cool one. So they click start, you click spin, and then it asks a question. Once it stops. All right, what app do you use the most? So the kids can, again, waterfall, they can just open up, you know, their mics are off, they can ask the question, and you can do that sort of thing. And if they're done, you can eliminate that choice and then go back to the next and spin again if they have another question. So just a little activity they can do in there. You can also, once they've spun the wheel, they're going to respond to the prompts of whatever activity you gave them. They're going to write down their answers either on pen and paper, or if you have a Google Doc or a Jamboard or, you know, a Padlet, whatever it happens to be, they can write down whatever their answers. The create, we know we want our students doing something with the work that they find. So here's what they create. And then step 6 within the breakout is to present their work, or that might be when they come back from the breakout, they present their work. All right, so now I've shown you a whole bunch of different ideas before we get there on using tables. Questions on those? Okay, so here's what I want you to do. I'm going to stop presenting for a moment. I want you to open up an empty Google slide, and I want you to try to, we're going to take the next 10 minutes and we're going to try to make an agenda. So you can use any of these different outlines. I'll walk you through the process. We can build one together, but I want you first to just open up a Google slide. All right, so now I'm going to present my screen again, and you can toggle between the 2 screens, or if you know how to split screen, great, you can go ahead and do that. But I'm going to actually just insert a slide in between the two that I have here. So I have a slide to work on as well. Okay. Everyone ready? Okay. So this template that you see that looks like a book, how I grabbed my background is I clicked on the background button at the top. I clicked choose image, and then I used notebook. And that's the one I chose right here was notebook. All right. And you can pull any background you want. You can keep it plain. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. But I just use this to kind of make it look like, to me, like agendas are in books. So I like to have it in an agenda. And then what you're going to do after you have your background, you're going to click insert. You're going to grab your table. And you're going to decide what kind of table you'd like to build or what kind of activity you want to build. And then you're going to choose the size of your table based on that. I'll give you a moment. Once you have your table, you can drag out or in the left or right, however you want to move your table to be able to give yourself some room next to it, but also still have the integrity of the spaces. And it will keep each of the boxes the same size when you do this, so you don't have to worry about different sizes or whatnot. What I'm going to do with mine, oh, my lights just went out. What I'm going to do with mine is drag my top box to be smaller and let my other boxes be bigger. And I'm going to build my agenda with what I'm going to build is I'm doing a virtual meeting. So I'm going to write virtual meeting agenda in the first cell. And I'm going to do a whole group. And I'm going to do independent work. So I'm going to build mine that way.
I'm sorry, Lori, I had to step away. This is Casey Ann. Can you let me know how you got the notebook look?
Sure.
Thank you.
So, yep. So I click on background. I click choose image. And then I used notebook as my search tool. And then actually it was one of the first ones that came up here was the one I'm using. Yep. And there's tons of different ones. I just like the look of the notebook. You can also use, if you go out to Slidesmania, if you guys haven't noticed the site yet or haven't gone to it, they have a whole education style that has interactive templates, notebook templates, manipulatives, choice boards, weekly planners, yearly planners. They have tons of templates that are free to use. So if I click on like the notebook style one, you can see they have some really cool looking ones that are available for you. If you find one you like this HyperDoc one, you scroll down to where it says open in Google Slides, and then you click use template, and then it's fully editable for you to do whatever you'd like with it. So even if you don't want to build from scratch, you certainly can use one of the ones that are already out there. So take some time and kind of build your agenda. Get my lights to turn back on. There we go. How we doing?
Good.
All right. So I'm just going to finish mine on my screen. So I'll talk as I'm doing that, but keep working on yours. But if there's something that you're like, oh, I don't know how to do that, ask or pop back over and you can see. So I'm going to change the font. So I highlighted my, my words that I have here. If I click up where it says Arial, I get my fonts. I can click on more fonts and see a whole bunch of different ones. I can even sort fonts by display ones because those are going to be a little bolder maybe. Grab whatever one I'd like. So maybe I want concert one or whatever. I click OK, and then I'm going to click on that concert one that I just added in. And it's going to change that over for me. I can change the size, make it as large as I want it to be. To change the whole grid, let's say I want to have the fill color to be something, I click up on the paint can. I click whatever color I want it to be. I can fill it as bright or as dark as I'd like it to be. And then I can also change it if I wanted to. I'm going to make it transparent for a minute. I can just highlight some of the cells and just choose which cells I want to actually have color in it. Same with the lines. If I highlight all of the whole grid, I can click on the border color. I can make it as bold as I want. I can even make the lines thicker if I want to. Except I didn't highlight the other ones when I did that, so let me do that. Make that line thicker. Okay, so now I've got my grid. It's kind of set up. I can also change, like my whole group, it seems like it's off to the left. I can click on it to move it into the center. I can choose that it sits in the center of the box as well, just to kind of keep it a little more organized for me. I like to add in word art for my titles, like you see here where it says virtual meeting. So here, maybe instead of virtual meeting agenda, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it out so I don't have that in there. I'm going to click on insert. I'm going to click on word art and paste that in. And if I hit shift return, the words will go under each other. And now I can move that off to the right, make it as large as I'd like. What I'm going to do is change this font. If concert 1 is what I have the others, I'm going to change that to as well. I can change the inside to be whatever color. I can move the outside to be a different color, make that as thick as I'd like it to be. The yellow is hard to see. Let's make it blue. All right, so once I like it, I can keep it that way. Now you might have noticed on my words that I have a blur underneath it. That's just a fun little way that you can kind of make it look a little bit different. And you find that under the format options. I click on drop shadow and I click the check next to it. I can change the drop shadow to be any color I want it to be. And then I can change the distance of how far that drop shadow goes. When I close it out and make this big, you can see that I have this drop shadow behind it. It's just a fun little way to make it a little more colorful. To show you some of the other things that I did in some of the other boxes, let's say I did make this fill all be purple. And instead of having the dark black lines, I wanted to make it transparent. I can highlight the whole box. Instead of clicking black at the top, I can click transparent, and it's going to take out that grid for me. All right. Let's say I want the grid to still be there. I can change the border color to white, which is my background color, and it's going to put the boxes exactly how they were, but now the background color is white. And I can write right in the box, however I would normally do that. I like the box there for this one. I'll go back to purple. In some of the ones I showed you, I added images to do that. I'm going to click on the little insert image icon. I'm going to click search the web, and then I can type in whatever word I want over here. So maybe we're talking about, what I say, dolphins. I'm going to stick to dolphins. And if I want a transparent image, I type in transparent background. It's going to show me a picture of a dolphin. I click insert. And I can put that image anywhere I want on the screen. You could also, I mean, this one's pretty transparent, but I can also change the opacity of it and actually put it behind the whole thing if I wanted to. Let me do that real quick. So I go into format options, I go into transparency, and I can make it a little bit duller looking so it's just in the background. Any questions on using the tables?
Not right now.
Awesome. All right. So if you want to come back to me, I'm going to show you some other ways to do it using the actual shapes. So here is one where I did a to-do where they had to read a story, give me the main idea and a couple details. So I know, especially in the younger grades, that's sometimes really hard to do, but this way we're organizing it on a place for the students to do the work. I used a circle with a drop shadow. I used an arrow, and then I used a rounded square to do the main idea and the details. So you give this to students, they click inside the box, they would do an edit mode, and then they would put their information in there. You can use your agendas as a daily choice board. So dolphins was on my brain, so I created a daily choice board about dolphins. I gave them what their requirement was. Their daily work is to complete 2 items from the choice board and then reflect on what they've learned. So they can watch a live cam of dolphins at it's at an aquarium. They can read dolphin facts on this website. They can read about bottlenose dolphins on another website. And these are like I'm sending them out to like places like National Geographic and stuff that, you know, places you would send your students for that information. The bottlenose dolphins one, actually, I think it's Wonderopolis. Oh, it's Kids National Geographic. One of them was this was Dolphin Facts for Kids. The live cam actually brought you out to a video of Nick and Hemi, and you can watch them in there if they're moving around and such. And there's other ones that they can look at other cams. They can go out to dolphins and look at others. Here I've learned, oh, this is the Wonderopolis one. This was just a Wonderopolis article, how do dolphins use echolocation. Here they would read the article, they can play the word challenge, they can test their knowledge on the article, so they have activities to do, and there's some videos and images for them to look at. A Brain Pop, you guys know Brain Pop, and then this is a video from Nearpod that they can watch and answer questions about dolphins. So they would sign in and they would do the activity. So this would be really great for asynchronous, so they can do this on their own. It may be something that you do a whole group lesson on whatever the topic of the day is, and then send them out to do this on their own. They would do the 2 activities in here, and then in the box, they would put in their work for the day. Another thing you can do is reflections. So these are sharing questions, your thoughts, and what you feel. So today I learned, oh, somebody coming in. They can be doing today I learned, and then they've got the reflections on what they learned, things they're curious about, next steps. So kind of like your KWL idea, they can be doing as reflections right on a Google slide. Another one you could do is getting your day started, answer the questions on the left based on the tasks they did, and then based on what you want to accomplish today. So again, giving the students the agency to kind of drive their learning, but you're setting it up in an agenda format so they know what they need to do first thing. So what is the first thing you do when you think you're done, you should do what do you need to be successful? Great way to kind of start their day to make sure that they're ready to learn. And then you can have in here their daily to-do list of the tasks they're going to do today. And then you can have another agenda for when they hand in that work. So before I go on to that last slide, questions on how I created these choice boards using shapes. Hi, Katie. I see you in there. She snuck in on me. All right, let me show you how to build one. So again, I'm going to have you on if you still have your slide deck up, you can walk through the steps with me. We can do it together. I'll give you some time to play. But I have a blank slide here again to get the background. I clicked on background. I clicked choose image. I put in notebook, and it was one of the first choices, happened to be the one that I grabbed. It's right there. To grab shapes, you're going to go up to the shapes tool, and then you could choose whatever shapes you like. I love the rounded square. That tends to be the one I use the most. But you can do a regular rectangle. You can do circles. You can use any shape that makes you happy, right? So you can do any of them. So I'm going to grab just that rounded rectangle one. And you can click and drag it as large or as small as you'd like it to be. Once you have, yeah, go ahead.
Quick question. For background, if I want to copy it from one slide to the next, and I already wrote on the other one, is there a way to copy that background, or everything's going to come with it?
Yeah, so go up to when you're on your background, all right, you when you chose your image, click add to theme. So on your, go to the slide that you like and click add to theme.
Okay.
And then when you click the plus, it will continue to make your slides look exactly the same as you go from slide to slide.
Oh, okay, I see it there.
You got it, okay.
Yep, all right, thanks.
Sure. So now that I made the shape, once I have it the size that I'd like, and I tend to make them a little small, so I can make this a little bigger. Once I have the size I like, I hit Control-C or Command-C, depending on what kind of device you're on. So I'm on a Mac, so it's Command-D to duplicate, and it will make as many of these as you want. So I want 4 of them. So I'm going to click, and then I'm going to drag them out. And then you'll notice that Google gives you the great lines to be able to organize where they are and how they line up. And you can have your pieces right on there. So I'm actually going to move them over because I want to have a little space on the right to put different, directions or whatnot. Actually, I'll move it down so I can put the directions at the top. Look right, there we go. Okay, so once you have your shapes in place, and that doesn't look quite lined up, I feel like it's a little off, but it's close enough. So you can type right in the box. Again, click on your font, choose which one you like. So, you can do step 1, step 2, step 3. Actually, if I did this, I probably would have written step 1 in the font I wanted before I duplicated, so I didn't have to do every step along the way. And then in the boxes, right now I have step 1 in the middle, but I want it at the top. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight those words, and then I'm going to click on the little align tool, and I'm going to click the up arrow, and it's going to move it to the top of my box. Now I'm using these as text and I put images inside the box, but you can use this and do the same thing with just images. So let's say I'm going to take out step 1 and step 2, or take out 3 and 4. I'm going to use step 1 and step 2, but now I'm going to grab images. So I'm going to go out. I have dolphins on the brain, so I'm just going to grab this dolphin picture. So I'm going to use Shift-Command-4 to grab a picture on mine. It's Control instead of Command for the rest of you, or you might have a snipping tool depending on what you have built in. And I'm going to take a picture of this. Well, I'm going to take a picture of that dolphin because it changed on me. And then I'm going to go back over to my presentation and drag that in. Now I want this image to have the same shape as my boxes. So what I'm going to do with the shape is I'm going to go up to the crop image, click the little down arrow that says mask image next to it. It'll give me the same shape options, and I'm going to put it as a rounded rectangle, and then I can adjust it to be the same size. So here, when I'm doing it this way, because I'm aligning it to the steps, I can put a link on here. So let's say step 1 is to watch a video. I can link the video to this one. And to do that, I click the little link button, and then you can put in the video, or I could insert the video and kind of hide it behind it. So that way when they click on it, that link shows up. And I'll do that with another one. I'll grab another picture. And I'm going to mask that image to be the same shape. And then the same thing as I did with creating the grid ones. I like word art, so I click insert word art, dolphin, or maybe this is the task, a task agenda or whatever you're going to call it. Again, you can change the shape and the size and the color by clicking up into the fonts, make it as large or as small as you like. Change the fill color. Change
Lori,
the color.
can you go back a step to making the shape the same, or making the image into the same shape as what you have? I'm not following that.
Sure. So I'm going to delete out that one. So I'm going to go over to this picture right here, and I'm going to take a picture of it. And you can insert any photo. I'm just going to snip it because I'm focused on dolphins here. When you have your image in, you're going to click up with the cropping tool. It's like, it looks like a square with lines kind of thing. And next to there, you have a down arrow. When you click on that, it says mask image, and it's going to give you your shapes tool, and then you can change it to whatever shape you have.
Could it be that I don't, hold on, I'm waiting to see if it comes, because I had my screen side by side.
Yep.
So I see text box, I see image, I see shape, I see like the lines. I'm not seeing cropping.
Okay, so click on the three dots.
Yes, I do. Sorry, it's because I didn't have the picture highlighted.
Okay. Oh yeah, you have to have the picture highlighted for it to show up. Yep.
Got it.
Very important. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And if you wanted to add in a little fun, like you saw that I did on slide 12 here, where I have the GIFs, you have to go out to Google for that. So if I go out here and I type in dolphins, and I go into images, and I'm going to click on tools, type GIF or a GIF, whatever you call it. All right, and then let's say I pull one up, I can see a picture. Maybe I want a different one of them swimming. What I want, if I wanted to put this in as my picture, I'm going to right click on it, and I'm going to copy image address. And I'm going to delete out this picture. And I'm going to go up to insert, image by URL. And I'm going to paste that link in. And I'm going to click insert. And it's going to load. There it goes. Again, I can mask that image into the shape that I want it to be. And then I can highlight that and add a link to whatever it is I want to link it to. Okay, so you always have that option too. Now, let's say you create an agenda, and then on the following pages within your slide deck is where the agenda, the different work that they need to do. So if I go back up to my slide that had the examples here, if I click on any of these examples, you'll see that I've linked it to another slide in the slide deck. So as I was creating those slides, it stayed within the slide. So if I wanted to see this daily to-do list, it's slide 9. I click on it, it brings me right to slide 9. So you can set that up as well. So I added in this virtual meeting agenda. So that is slide 13. So I'm going to come back up here to my examples. Type in virtual meeting agenda. I'm going to highlight it. I'm going to click on link. And instead of typing in anything like or grabbing a link to go out somewhere, I'm going to click slides in this presentation, click to slide 13, and click apply. And then the one I just did with the dolphins, called it a task agenda. Let's keep it that. Task agenda. And that was slide number 18. Now, if you put titles on your slides, it'll make it a little easier for you to find your slides, but I didn't, so I have to go in and see what they are. So I click link, slides and presentation, and it was slide 18. And I hit apply. So now if you click on it, it's going to take you to slide 18. So I showed you places to create your agendas, or I showed you how to create your agendas in Google Slides, but I do want to mention a few others in the last few minutes we have together. You can create agendas in Bunzie. They have templates. They have templates, and they have an ideas library where they have tons of already made ones for you that you can go out and grab. So if I go out to Bunzie and I click on the ideas lab, and I type in the word agenda, I'm going to get anything that people have put in. So I'm going to see some calendar ones, some weekly ones, some different ones like that are already made templates, and all I have to do is add in my information. Or if I'm out in Bunzie and I click the plus, it's going to, I gotta make my window bigger. It's going to bring me to a spot where I can pull any template, and I can find all sorts of agendas in here as well. So I don't know if they have it as a title, but you can type in agenda and all of them are going to come up. So here's your different templates. So there's some calendar ones, some weekly ones, and so on. So you can grab any of these agendas. They're already made. Sometimes I'll grab one of these, like let's say I really like this one. I could just take a picture of this and then bring it into Google Slides if I want to too. I don't have to build it in Bunzie if I don't want to. I often do. For example, I have my calendar one. I built this one in Bunzie. So this is my November calendar, which has an activity of the day for every day for parents and students to do that are just fun with different links. So you can certainly create them in Bunzie with all sorts of animations and such. You can create them in S'more. They do have, S'more has some nice templates for that, Canva, Adobe Spark, and then obviously I create them in Slides because I find I like the flexibility of it better, but you can certainly create it in Google Docs as well. All right, what questions do you have?
Are you willing to share your presentation with us so we can have access to those?
Yeah, and feel free to use them as you see fit. So I'm going to change my, I'm giving you as a view only, but make a copy and use away.
Thank you.
I like what I make to be used. So there you go. It's in the chat.
Thank you.
Sure.
What do you suggest is the best way to post it? Like we have teachers posting daily, but I would like to give like a weekly agenda. You know, do we post it in the stream? I'm not sure what the best way to do is.
So it depends really on how you have your Google Classroom set up. That's what you're talking about, right? Where do you post it in Google Classroom?
Right, yep.
Okay, so let me share my screen again. So here's just a demo class. I have my stream set up that none of my classwork goes to it. If you have it set up that way, you absolutely could just put your daily agenda in here. But if you have all of your classwork also show up in the stream, those things can get lost. You can shut off everything else in your stream by clicking on the gear icon, scrolling down to classwork on the stream, and instead of showing condensed, which is what it defaults to, change it to hide notifications, click save, and then it will keep your stream clean to just be that agenda. So it's a great place to put it. The other place you could do it is under classwork. When you click create it as a material. That way it stays at the top. Or you could create a topic that says daily work, and every day you put that at the top. So completely up to you where you want to put it. I wish Google had a way that you can make it big and like be the image, but they don't allow that yet. I keep saying yet because teachers just have to ask for it, and then Google makes it happen. But for right now, that's your best bet is to do it that way. You can put it in as material, or if you do it as an assignment or a question of the day, you can put it in as a topic of daily work. I have one teacher who does her topics every day. Every day is a new topic, so everything else goes away, and her topic is that date. So that way that one always is housed at the top. It works really well for her students. She teaches one of the younger grades, but I think she's second grade, but you can certainly set it up that way. What other questions?
Could you show again really quickly how you made the dolphin look like it was in the background and change the trend? I kind of missed that.
Sure. So let me go back to the slides here. So here, we'll just come to this one. Let's say I wanted to add an image behind the to-do list here. So I'm going to just grab an image from inside because I keep going out, but I'm going to click the image, search the web, and I'm going to grab dolphin transparent background, right? And I'll pick a different one because this one was pretty transparent anyway. I'm going to click this one and click insert. So I'm going to shrink this guy down, and I want him to be housed inside this box, but I want it to be more transparent, right? So I have a couple options. One, I can put it behind the other and then make the to-do box be more transparent. Or two, I could just make this image be transparent. If I want the students to type in the box, I want to move that dolphin behind. If I want, if I don't care, like I'm just going to write my to-do list, it doesn't really matter. I can choose to layer it differently. So, but I'm going to show you the transparency first. So you click on Format Options, and under Adjustments, you have Transparency, and you can make it as transparent as you'd like. All right, so you have that in there. The other thing, like I said, if you want to layer it behind, so I'm going to make this more bold, but I'm going to move this to-do list, or actually I'm going to hold on to this dolphin. I'm going to click on Arrange. I'm going to click Order, and I'm going to send it to the back. Now I can't see it because it's behind this box. So I'm going to make this box transparent. So I'm going to click on the transparency. Oh, I click drop arrow. I want to make the, is it not going to let me? Maybe it doesn't let me. Should let me. Oh, undo. Oh, I know why. Hang on. If I click on the paint can, I can make it transparent. And then I can have the box be on top of it and the dolphin behind it. So now I can still type in the box. And the
Thank
dolphin
you.
behind it. Yep.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yep. Other questions? All right. Well, if you need anything, reach out. You know where to find me. You all have a copy of the slide deck. It has my email on there. And share your agendas with me. I'd love to see them.
Thanks, Lori.
Thank you.
Sure.
Have a good day.